what you think about your life right now. I was reflecting on when I decided to become a professional speaker. I looked at my life and I just said, you know what? I want to do more. I want more. I want more for myself, my family, my mother, and I want to be in charge of my own destiny. And what I was doing at that time was not providing that. And it got to a point, I don't know whether or not you've ever been there, that just doing something 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just to pay the bills, to keep a roof over my head, and for transportation and food on the table, it just didn't get it. I mean, if you can understand how I felt, it just didn't get it. I didn't find that fulfilling. One, I was doing something that wasn't me. And I was doing something to survive. What it takes to live versus what it takes to survive are two different things. And so here's what I realized, that if you're not willing to take a chance on you, if you're not willing to learn something and reach beyond your comfort zone so that you can explore some other possibilities for yourself, you'll never discover the greatness that you have within yourself to do more, to have more, and to experience more. So I wanted to see what else was out there for me other than what I was doing at the time. I was a salesperson at Sears, and they said, if you're the top salesperson, that you will get a promotion to be the sales manager. Well, I was the top salesperson for 6 months in a row, and they told me they couldn't promote me. I said, no, don't say you couldn't, just say you won't promote me. Well, they said, well, the reason is it will lower morale. Lower morale? Yes. Everybody in that area there would be very upset. I was the only raisin in a glass of milk, if you know what I mean. I said, what? I said, come on, you gotta be kidding me. No. We would love to give you the promotion. I said, excuse me, don't use the word give. I've earned this. 6 months in a row, I've earned this. You said, if you're the top performer, you will be selected for manager. Now you're changing the rules. Now I had a choice. They said I would lower morale. So I took a chance on me. I wonder what happened to the morale when the top performer left. And they had the unmitigated gall to ask me to train the people that they were going to put over me. I said, hello, do I look like Mr. Buckethead? No. Be a team player? No. You know, some people got nerve, you know me? They got nerve up in here, up in here. I said, I got to do something that puts me in charge. If you want to be in charge of life, but I'm working from home now. This is what I do. When I'm not talking to you, you know what I'm doing? I'm speaking to corporations. I'm speaking to organizations. I'm speaking to different groups of people who want to be motivated and inspired, and helping them to create a sense of engagement and unification, even though they're separate geographically. And I'm doing that from the comfort of my home. I teach people how to use this computer to bring their personality through, their passion and their energy through, to create a significant emotional event. See, the reason I have the advantage of doing this than the average person, because I was in radio for many years. I couldn't see the people that I was talking to, and you do it after a certain period of time, you develop some skills intuitively that you know when you're connecting with people. And so that has given me a competitive edge. being in radio for so many years. That's why I'm teaching people now how to do virtual seminars and workshops. Now, and be successful at it. I'm successful at this and one of the top impactful speakers doing this because of my background. Do something beyond your comfort zone. Learn something new so you can see what's in you. You got some more stuff back there, but you'll never find out what it is if you don't test yourself. And I was seeing these people speaking everywhere, and I said, I'm gonna put myself to the test. I look at them, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. And so part of the whole process, because I was listening to motivational messages on a regular basis, and I was getting fired up. Now, write this down. The people that are going to make it now, the people that are going to take advantage of this breakthrough. Listen, we work hard for where we are right now. Don't sleep this period now. Good times, they have an expiration date. Bad times, they have an expiration date. We just came through something. With the election of 2 senators, the scale has tilted. The force of evil has been subdued. Listen what I said, not destroyed, but subdued. It will raise its ugly head again. So you want to maximize this time. You want to milk this moment. You want to make your move right now. And one of the things that I do, and I encourage my kids to do, when I make some money, I operate like I don't have a dime. Like I don't have a dime. I start working harder. And this is what you have to do. The people that are going to be successful are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. What is it that most people won't do? Here's what they won't do. Learn something new. They're comfortable with what they're doing now. Well, I've been doing this for a long time. So, learn something new. If you're not willing to learn anything new, no one can help you. But if you're willing to learn something new, like I decided to do this, no one can stop you. I'm my own boss. I call my own shots. And I'm not saying this to you to impress you, but to impress upon you that you got it like that too. And that's why I'll train you how to do that, how to use your voice, how to use your gift of gab, how to use your knowledge and your skills. People with knowledge and skills are working for corporations. You need to learn how to work for yourself from home virtually and control your own destiny. Be your own boss. That's what time it is. Here's something else. I discourage you. Don't do this if you're not hungry. Did you hear what I just said? Now, I just told you ought to do this, right? And then right after that, come on, Les, what are you saying now? You're telling me don't do it if? Yes. If you're not hungry. If you're going to make it today, you got to be hungry. The 47 million people are going to lose their jobs from artificial intelligence. Millions of people have lost their jobs because of coronavirus. You think you're the only one out here? No. It's a different market right now. It's different. There are people that are desperate, going through foreclosures and evictions, lost their jobs, lost their businesses. So the people that are going to come out on top, the people that will snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, they're hungry. When I came out here, I was hungry. I got 5 sons and 5 daughters and a mother that I want to take care of and buy a home for. You got to be hungry. People that are hungry are relentless. You got to get your hustle on. People that are hungry are the first ones there and the last ones to leave. Most people not hungry. Most people are conditioned to do just enough to keep from getting fired, working in an environment where they've been paid just enough to keep from quitting. It takes some time. to step out of that mental conditioning. People that are hungry, when I worked for WVKO, I was the program director, I was news director, I was manager of station operation. I did commercials. I did editorials. I did a talk show, The Voice of the People. Whole lot of stuff that they didn't pay me for. Why, Les? Because I wanted to learn. I wanted to make myself indispensable. That's why. That's why I did it. I wanted to make myself more valuable and increase my value for the operation. You have to have that kind of attitude about life. That are you increasing your value every day? If you were on the stock market, would you invest in you? Most people have to say no. Why? They're not reading anything. They're not learning anything new. They're operating within their comfort zone, and they're praying every day that they don't lose a job that they hate. That's what you call mixed emotions. See somebody you hate drive off a cliff in your car. You're glad they're gone, but not in your car. Oh, behave, hello, whatever. No, it's a different place now. You got to be hungry. You have to get your stuff together. Average is over. The being average, doing just enough to get by, no. And when I talk to people, I can ask a certain question. I can tell the hungry ones and the ones who are slackers. And they're everywhere, the pigeons. See, today, employers are looking for eagles. You go outside right now and see some pigeons, but it's going to take a minute to see some eagles because they fly high. This is what time it is. And when you look at yourself, look at your goals, look at your dreams, this time demands that you get outside of your comfort zone. This time requires that you invest in you. That's what I was willing to do. The people that will be successful are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People who are not successful have large television screens, and people who are successful have large libraries. Hello? Oh, people who are hungry are willing to discipline themselves. They're willing to dedicate themselves to learn something different. See, anything can be mastered if you're willing to put in the time and put in the effort and focus yourself on learning how to do that to make yourself stand out. In the attention economy, this is the attention economy. You got to make yourself stand out. Yes, you just can't mosey through this time and think you're going to get some customers. So you have to think in terms of market takeaway. What value are you bringing that's superior to everybody else? You've got to operate out of the thinking of Henry David Thoreau. Do not go where the path may lead. Go where there's no path and leave a trail. You got to set a new standard.
How can people develop a hunger in themselves, and why is it so important?
I was downtown with my mother. I was around 5 years old. And my mother, she adopted altogether. She took in foster kids, 7, and I was one among the 7. Then she adopted us. I let go of her hand. It was about 95 degrees downtown Miami. And I ran up to a water fountain and I started drinking. And all of a sudden I felt her hand. She said, "Don't you ever do that again." She snatched me down. And she began to punch me in the face and the head. And just beating me fiercely like she didn't know me. I said, "Mama, it's me, Mama, it's me." And then a white policeman came over and he had a billy club and he was hitting it in his hand. He said, "Okay, you can let that little nigger boy go now. I won't have to do it." And he looked at me with my busted lip and eyes swollen and started laughing as he walked away. That'll teach you.
And my mother, as she helped me up, she began to cry. I was crying because of the pain of the punches and the blows. She was crying because she beat her baby boy. I said, Mama, why did you beat me like that? She said, when I saw that white policeman's face turn red and he gripped his nightstick and he was coming towards you to hit you, I had to think fast and do something to distract him. Because had he hit you, Leslie, he would have had to kill me. And I did the best thing that I knew how. I'm so sorry, son. I'm so sorry. Mama, love you. I didn't mean to beat you like that. I said, Mama, it didn't hurt that badly. And so, you know, doing it when you're a kid, you know, mothers kissed apart to make it well. I said, right here, I got a little knot there. She would kiss it. I said, I got another one over here. She said, just shut up. I knew then I was living in a different world. I got to tell you this, I have never talked about this publicly. I worked for a guy named Joe, and Joe was really fond of me, and I admired him. And I used to do odd jobs for him. And he invited me to his house during the time. Now, mind you, I'm 75, so segregation is in the South. And this is unusual, and he invited me. He wanted me to know that he was liberal, invited me to his house to have dinner. So he introduced me to his wife, and then his son came over, and his daughter-in-law, and their little girl named Alice. And I spoke to all of them. And so Alice, she was around 5. And she came around, and I said, hello, Alice. She said, hi. And then she came around and she came behind me. And all of a sudden I felt something behind me, you know, at the bottom of the chair. She was moving her hand below my butt. I said, Alice, what are you doing? And she said, where is it? I said, where's what? Where's your tail? And I looked at Joe and his wife and his son and daughter-in-law. I said, I clipped it off. She said, why? I said, because when I sat down, it would hurt. What'd you do with it? I said, just threw it away. She said, will it grow back? I said, no. Oh, and then she was just so disappointed. She stomped to her chair and she sat down. She said, you shouldn't have cut it off. I was waiting to see it when Grandpa said that you were coming for dinner. I said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And we went on to have dinner. Eric, as we were having dinner, she continued to talk and asked me different questions about my tail. How long I had it? How long did it take it to grow? I said, it didn't take very long. I said, I had it since I was born. I'm trying to hold a conversation with this little 5-year-old, and they are about to go under the table. Their faces look red as cherries. And so when I got ready to go, she said, I'm not going to forgive you for clipping off your tail. I said, I'm sorry, Alice. Had I known you would want to see it, I would not have clipped it off. I'm so sorry. And so I said, bye, everybody, but she would not say bye to me. She just looked away like, you cut your tail off. Don't say bye to me. And so when we got in the car, Joe was driving me home, and the car was very silent. And by the time we got to my street, he started to say something. I said, Joe, it's okay. It's okay. I said, you take care. And he drove off. And I sat down on my doorstep and I cried because I thought I knew this guy. I thought he was my friend. I had no idea that he had taught his granddaughter how to damn tail. I was so hurt. Eric, I had to collect myself to go before going in the house. And Mama said, Leslie, you all right? I said, no, ma'am, Mama, what's wrong? I said, nothing. How's Joe? I said, he's doing real good. And I wouldn't tell her because I knew that would have broke her heart. And that night, I was just thinking about how, signs that I'd seen on Miami Beach, Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. And I remember asking my mother, why do they hate us so badly? And she said, Leslie, I don't know, but don't you ever be like them. You hear me? Don't you ever be like them. God is love. Scripture says God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. And I made a commitment. I'm Mamie Brown's baby boy, to live a life of love. That how you feel about me, Eric, is none of my spiritual business. It's how I feel about myself that's most important. And everybody don't operate at that level of consciousness, but it created a fierceness in me. I knew there were two worlds, and it's a hunger to take care of my mother, the hunger to provide for her, the hunger to buy her a home. It gave birth to that hunger. Hearing my mother having to clap her hands when she went into another room to look for a hat for Miss Harris. Miss Harris, how you doing? Great. Mamie, do you see it? No, I don't. Mama, what is it, Leslie? Why are you clapping your hands? Don't you worry about it. You just do what you're supposed to do. Miss Harris said, clean the spots off the floor. She came out, I don't see it, Miss Harris. Go in the other room, Mamie. She went in the other room. Mama started clapping her hands again. Mama, why are you clapping your hands? Didn't I tell you, boy, to do what you're supposed to do? Miss Harris came over to me. I can tell you why she's clapping her hands. Because when I have colored people looking for something and I can't see them, I make them clap their hands to make sure they're not stealing. I dropped the washcloth, and during this time, you weren't allowed to look white people in the eyes. I looked her in the eyes and I said, my mother is not a thief. She would not steal from you or anybody. She's not a thief. Then I got back down and I started scrubbing that floor and slinging water everywhere, tears coming out of my eyes. On the way back to Overtown in Liberty City on the bus, I wasn't talking. She said, Leslie, yes ma'am, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm mad. She said, why? I want to be a man. Why? You'll be a man soon enough. I said, no, I want to be a man now. She said, why? I said, if I was a man, you would never cook for anybody but us. If I was a man, we would not have to eat food left over from the families that you cook for. If I was a man, we would not have to wear hand-me-down clothes that somebody else has worn for a year. And if I was a man, nobody would make you clap your hands because they think that you're stealing. She said, Miss Harris told you that, didn't she? I said, yes, ma'am. And I just turned and looked out the window. And she said, Leslie, it's gonna be all right, son. That gave birth, Eric, a hunger in me, that nobody would ever make my mother clap her hands again because they think that she's stealing. That my mother, one day, because of my becoming actively engaged in the fight that people are doing right now, that kids would not get the hell beat out of them because they drank from a water fountain that said for whites only. That's why I used radio to bring about social justice, and it caused me to be the person that I am. It created a hunger to create a better world. It created a hunger to live a life that will outlive me. That's why I train speakers to become messengers of hope, because when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present, and get people to live out of their imagination rather than their education and their indoctrination, and help them to have an expanded vision of who we are and how we can show up in life. So you asked the question, be careful what you ask for, because you just
I'm
might
glad.
get.
I mean, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've known you for, what, 25 years? Something
At
like
least.
that? Yeah.
Over
I've known you a
30
long
years.
time. And some of these stories I've never heard.
And my stories and my history is right. Notice I said help people live out of their imagination and not out of history. My history has never interfered with our relationship.
Right.
I got to share another with you. I got to get the names because I love these. I believe in giving people credit for what they say and write, and so I will have the names tomorrow, or maybe I think it's Thursday. Thursday we have our session. Here's another one. Don't let other people's failure create fear in you and going after something. I'll never forget when I decided that I was going to become a motivational speaker. How many people said, do you know how many members there are in the National Speakers Association? I said, yeah, around 3,000. Is that right? Do you think you're the first one that decided that you're going to be known nationally and internationally? Do you? You're not that naive, are you? Over 3,000? You have nothing going for you. And you will be the only fly in that glass of milk. There's no way you can compete with them. With PhDs and MBAs, people from around the world. Who are you? Les Brown from Overtown and Liberty City in Miami, Florida? Who are you? You're nobody. You don't have their money. You don't have their contact, their relationships, their corporate experience. I wouldn't waste my time if I was you. Well, thank God you're not me, because guess what? I'm going for it. I'm going for it. See, sometimes people allow other people's opinion, other people's experiences, or fears to govern what they will attempt to do or not do. Just because somebody else failed at it doesn't mean that you're going to fail at it. And even if you do fail at it, change your approach. Don't change your decision. Did you just hear what I said? Oh, that'll preach up in here. Change your approach. Don't change your decision. Alexander Graham Bell was asked the question, how did you continue after failing 10,000 times? And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. He changed his approach, but he didn't change his decision of what he was working on. He's on fire today. He's on fire. Yes, Tyrone, I'm on fire. What do you think about that?
I think you doing real good. Keep on, Mr. Brown.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Tyrone is a squirrel that comes up on the west side of my house, and he talks to me in the morning. He talks to me and walks with me, and he just tells me various things and teach me how to speak squirrely. Now, here's the other thing. When you got something to do, I want to talk to you and give you another point of what to do in and out of the coronavirus. Yes, you need to have a strategy. Three kinds of people coming out of this: millionaires, billionaires, and witnesses. You listen to me, you will not be a witness. You're going to become a millionaire or billionaire. Which one do you want to be? A witness, like the majority of people who are tuning into entertainment? Write this down and put it someplace where you can watch it and look at it and read it and remind you. What you tune into, you turn into. I've made several million. Now I'm working on the billion, because a good man, not a sperm donor, a good man, oh, no, he didn't go there. No, he did not go there. I did. As my brother said, the shoe fit, wear it. And if it's not your shoe and and it fits, wear it anyhow. That you got to have something that you decide, this is how I'm going to make my mark. I was chosen. I was sent here with gifts and greatness in me. And I'm going to make a presence. I'm going to make a dent. Am I going to solve all the problems? No, I'm not trying to play God. No. But I can do something. And I'm going to do what I can, as George Washington Carver said, do what you can where you are with what you have and never be satisfied. Absolutely. Don't resign yourself just to be hypnotized by what's going on. Your future is going to be bright because you decided that you're going to write it, that you're going to create it, that the future will be kind to you because you are going to create your own future. That's the way to get up in the morning. Just because I'm 76, you think I'm gonna be sitting around watching Netflix? Absolutely not. Netflix is a great idea that kicked cable and all the other networks behind. That's an idea. Everything that exists at some point in time was an idea. I still got some ideas going on in my mind. I still know my name. What's your name? Leslie Calvin Brown. Okay. What is today? Now you're going too far. Hello. Good morning to you. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. You know homie could sing, huh? You didn't know homie could sing, did you? They didn't know, Tyrone, that homie could go there. But you can't handle it.
You got a point. Okay.
Silly boy, silly boy, silly boy. That's what my sister's saying right now, I'm sure, as she's watching me. Silly boy.
For folks that are here and watch this conversation that say, absolutely, I agree. I want better. I know I deserve better. But I've been in this position that I'm in here for a little while. How do I start this process? I see the vision on where I could be, but I'm here right now. What say you? What happens tomorrow? What's a practical thing that folks can do when they get up?
Is don't do what you just did. When you and your friend got together and you had a vision of manifesting this, you had no one to go and talk to and ask, how do we do it? This place, this concept did not exist. Our favorite book says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So you have to just make the commitment. Nothing happens until you make the commitment. Nothing works until you work. You put in the work for this to take place. And let's use work as an acronym. W, the willingness to do what's required. The willingness to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. The O stands for ownership mindset. You created a place, a space. Space is very important because God made a space for us before he made us. He didn't just make us and had us dangling in the air. We need a space that we can come to that allow us to create a community so that we can begin to take each other to a place in ourselves that we can't go by ourselves. That's what Mr. Washington did for me on that particular day. The R stands for reinvent yourself. That thinking that got you here won't serve us in this new environment. We're in this place where Peter Drucker said that we must be willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn so that we can navigate where we are right now. And the K stands for kindred spirits, that when you are around people that's going in the direction of where you are going, that what it does is it challenges you. It creates a synergy. It allows you to do things that you could not do by yourself because of the relationships that you're around that hold you accountable to a higher standard. I met a young man named Mike Williams, and I wish all of you write this down. He wrote a book called The Road to Your Best Stuff. And you look so much like the young Mike Williams. And he was my newsman. I was disc jockey at WVKO radio station in Columbus, Ohio. He saw this Les Brown before I saw this Les Brown. He was my newsman. He said, "Brownie." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you can do more than be a disc jockey." It's very important for you to have someone, and this is the value of the gathering spot, a positive connection that will believe in you until your belief kicks in. And I said, "Come on, Mike." I couldn't imagine what he told me I could do. He said, "Man, you can change people's lives around the world." I said, "Are you kidding me?" At that time, I was LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter plant popper. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. And so he saw this dude, and I'm thinking,
I would have seen him too.
I'm a disc jockey, man. And I said, what do you think I can do other than this? I thought, have you ever had somebody see something in you that you didn't see in yourself? Yeah. And he said, "Les, I see you going to these seminars and these workshops." He said, "I hear you quoting Malcolm and Dr. King all the time." He said, "What's in them, it's also in you." I was Les Brown, the man about town at that particular time. And I said, "What you talk about, Willis?" But he worked with me. We're still together to this day. And he helped me to begin to see what he saw. And it was a process.
When did you see it for yourself?
It was an ongoing process, but I think that the deciding moment was when I spoke in the Georgia Dome. There's a video that's on the internet. Millions of people have viewed it, called "It's Not Over Till You Win." And the guy that invited me, Dexter Yeager, he did not like me at all. He'd never had a black person on his stage as a motivational speaker. He had a choice of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. And he asked me, "Do you know why I asked you to come?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I need someone who can command this audience." I said, "Oh." And he said, "I don't like you." And I didn't ask him why. I had to remember why I was there. And I just kept thinking, if he's chosen me to do this, I'm not interested in getting into an argument with this dude, okay? Mike Williams said, "Brownie, keep the main thing the main thing." So he said, "I don't like niggers." And as I was sitting there, Liberty City was about to come out. And I remember something that Mike told me. He said, "Anger is a wind that blows out the lamp of the mind." I decided not to get angry. And I didn't answer and I didn't respond. And I know he wanted a response from me. He said, "But there's something about you. You speak from your heart. And I need someone to command this audience. And you don't speak from your head, you speak from your heart. And you've come from some hard times. And you are the one to do this job today." I said, thank you very much. And I was frightened. I thought they brought me there to speak to 500 people in a dining room area. And the guy said to me, you Les Brown? I said, yes. Man, what is it like to speak to 80,000 people? I said, I don't know. You don't know? I said, no. He said, come here a minute. So he took me, he said, look out there. You see those people there? I said, yes. He said, that's who you're speaking to. I said, to them? He said, yes, all white audience. I took off and started running down the hall. He said, where are you going? I said, to the bathroom, but it's number 1. So they called Mike and said, Les is in the bathroom and he won't come out, because I couldn't hear the voices in my head. And he said, Brownie, you're scared, aren't you? I said, yes. Brownie, can you hear me? I said, yes. I said, Mike, it's 80,000 people. I've never spoke to an audience that large before. He said, so what? They came to hear you. You didn't come to hear them. I said, Mike, oh my goodness, I can't hear the voices. He said, Brownie, just remember these words: distract, dispute, and inspire. He said, do it for your mother. I said, man, don't use my mama against me. He said, you always said you wanted to buy her home. If you make this happen, man, this will be a big deal. People around the world will see this, and it will be a deciding point in your speaking career. Do it for your mother. She's going to tell the neighbors about it. She's going to say, that's my boy. I'm so glad that I adopted them. And I said, okay. I came out and started walking toward the stage. And when I went up the steps, he looked at me and he said, you got this. And I said, you believe in me, Mike? He said, yeah, you can do this. I said, thank you, man. Because I never had a father. He's just 2 years older than me. But he's like a father said to his son, you can do this. And I felt it in my heart. And I took that microphone and I went out there and I wore him out.
You can either live your dreams or live your fears. And I think the majority of people actually are not living their dreams, but are living their fears. So I want to ask you a question. What are your fears? What are you afraid of? What are you scared of? Because we all have fears, don't we? We all have something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. And as we begin to look at life, what we realize is that the reason that most people are not living out their true potential, are not doing all of the things that they would really like to do, is because of fear. Some people call fear false evidence or expectations appearing real. I'm reminded of the story of a guy that was living in an area where he had some new neighbors, and these neighbors had a bulldog. And when he came home every day, this bulldog used to chase him about a half a block from his house. Every day, he would have to streak home. I mean, he would just run. This bulldog would be right on his heels. And so he just got tired of that, because he would go home about a half a block away from home. He would look around for this bulldog and he wouldn't see him. And he would go walking casually along, and this bulldog come out of nowhere, woo, 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 and start chasing him, and he'd run home. So this one day, he just got tired. And so when the bulldog was running after him, he started running. He saw a rock, and he stopped to pick it up to throw at the bulldog. And when the bulldog got up on him, he started barking. He realized the bulldog didn't have any teeth in his mouth. Then he started chasing the bulldog. If you don't get all the way from it, because the most the bulldog could have done is gummy, you know. And so, you know what? Most people go through life running scared. running scared from things that have no teeth in them because they're false expectations appearing real. That, see, we're brilliant enough to scare ourselves to death. You realize that? And there are some people actually who get a kick out of scaring themselves to death. I remember the last frightening movie I saw. It was The Exorcist. I will never forget. I was so frightened when I came home. I'll never forget. I drove in the driveway and I had already called my former wife and said, listen, turn the lights on. I was coming in the driveway and I was getting out of the car, and all of a sudden I couldn't get out. I started blowing my horn. I said, Madeline, they got me, they got me. She came to the kitchen and said, take your seatbelt loose, fool. I said, oh, okay. I was frightened out of my wits. But there are a lot of people who they get off on that. They love it. I'm a person, my brother is a paratrooper. My twin brother, he's in the military, career man. I would love to jump out of an airplane to parachute. I'm scared though. I mean, I really admire my brother for that. I would really love to be macho man like that. What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. And how do we begin to handle that? Abraham Maslow said that the life is about growth. And he said, you can either go back to your comfort zone, and there you won't find any growth, or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again, because you're never going to have a fear-free existence. I mean, some fear is acceptable and legitimate. There are some things that you really should be afraid of. Now, you shouldn't allow it to immobilize you. You acknowledge it, you take it into account, and you carry yourself accordingly. There are times that we should proceed with caution, but it's the difference between being stopped by fear. It's the difference between having a fear and the fear having you. So what do? One, acknowledge it, and knowing that it's okay. Don't condemn yourself for being afraid. It's perfectly fine to have some fears. You acknowledge your fears, you embrace those fears, and then you move on. You act on whatever it is that you fear. Because once you embrace it, see, what you resist will persist. What you resist will persist. So one of the most important things is to begin to embrace your fear.
And I want to begin to talk about this amazing book with a quote, direct quote from your book. You said, Dr. Miles Monroe, the great preacher and orator, said, the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East, where there is oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa, where there are diamond mines. The wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, for there you will find leaders who have never stepped up, innovators or innovations the world has never been exposed to, talents and potential never realized. I am reminded of another man who said, oh God, to reach the point of death only to realize you have never lived, only to realize that you never scraped the surface of your potential. I remember reading about a woman who had just left the doctor's office after having been told she had terminal cancer. She made herself a cup of coffee when she returned home, and as she sipped it, she suddenly, filled with anger, with rage, and hurled the cup against the wall, and shattered it in many pieces. And as she threw it, she screamed out, I refuse to die an unlived life. And then ending that section, you said this, the only way that you can break through the atmosphere and reach higher altitudes is by being hungry. Hunger is the most crucial element of creating your greatest life. I love this book because I thought that was a great way of capturing our attention. Why this subject of hunger and using that as an analogy or a metaphor? Why did you choose to use hunger as a metaphor for desire?
If you are casual about your dream, you will end up a casualty with your dreams. That most people unconsciously die long before they're buried. because they don't realize that they have been marginalized, that they live in a culture where they're told more about what they cannot do rather than what they can do. We've been programmed to think in terms of being one-dimensional, of being an employee, of going to college, graduating, getting a job, working for 40 years, expecting to retire on 40%, which wasn't enough in the first place. The 40-40 plan is gone. It's been interrupted. And so, but most people are not aware of that. The great anthropologist, Margaret Mead, was in London, and she was having dinner. So one of the waiters said, you know, there's several Americans here tonight. And so she said to her guest, let me show you something. She said, let me know when you serve them dessert, and I'll tell you exactly how many are here. He said, you couldn't possibly. She said, just let me know when you serve them dessert. And so when he left, he came back, he said, okay, I've served them dessert. She got up and she walked around and she said, there are 35 Americans in this restaurant. He looked at the roster, he was shocked. He said, how did you know that? She said, in the UK, when you eat a slice of pie or cake, you eat it from the crust toward the tip. In America, when we eat a slice of pie or cake, we eat it from the tip toward the crust. How do you eat a slice of pie?
I eat a slice of pie from the crust to the tip.
Yeah, now, so you're an exception because you came up in a British culture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, but the average American will eat a slice of pie from the tip toward the crust. Mm-hmm. Well, no one told us to do that. We just picked it up. Mm-hmm. For instance, before 1980, you walk around, you would not see people with tattoos. The majority of people that you see today have tattoos. Where'd that come from? How could that happen? What created that? There was no advertising on television saying, go out and get a tattoo. Well, in America, we incarcerate more people than any place else in the world. And in prison, you're not allowed to draw on the walls. You're not allowed to use your artistic skills on the walls of the prison. There's a penalty. You'll be penalized. You'll be put in the hole in solitary confinement. So they're bored. They have nothing else to do. And so they write on each other's bodies. They write tattoos. So now, when you see people today, all on television and commercials, you see tattoos everywhere. Nobody told them to go out and get it, but being in the culture, there's some things that you pick up. And so picking up a limited vision of yourself is natural when you're in a culture that does not recognize your greatness, that does not recognize your humanity, and create a culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self. And so in order to break out of that, to realize that you are made in the likeness and image of God, to realize that you've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, that it takes everything in you. People that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry will find a way to win. People that are hungry will not take no for an answer. People that are hungry won't give up. They will persist until they succeed. That's what's required to make it today.
Yes, yes, definitely.